Welcome to Whose Turn Is It Anyway, your board gaming podcast where we put you right in the middle of our gaming group. I'm joined by Adrian.
Hello.
Tambo.
Hello.
And the lovely Becky.
Hi.
And we're here to talk about...
board games.
Well, yeah, board games, but more specifically, niche number ones.
Okay.
Yay.
We're back for more niche number ones. This is our 5th round, and it's been 16 episodes since we did the last one.
Is it?
Wow.
It has, yeah. I looked because I thought it's been a while. I did not realise it was that long, so we are back for another round. So I can't wait for that. How are you all doing?
Well, I've got an octave lower
Yeah.
vocal range currently.
You sound like Barry White.
Yeah, that's part of that's my charm today.
I'm gonna love your love, baby.
I've had a chest infection. I've never had one of those before. Wouldn't recommend. Yeah, not been fun.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But you're here.
I'm here now. Yeah, I feel better. I don't sound like I feel better, but you know, I'm soldiering on because I'm so brave. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just
You're
quite...
bloody brave,
yeah,
you are.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks.
You're here for the recording.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about board games.
Of course.
Nice one. How about you? I was say, how about you boys? That just makes me sound
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
Hi, boys.
How about you chaps?
I'll be boring and say I'm fine. Yeah.
That's not boring. That's good.
That's it. I'm
nice
okay.
Thing.
Not loving life, but I'm okay.
Not loving life, but you're not hating it.
I'm not hating either.
Oh, great.
So.
Yeah. Right, glad I come to you, T.
Yeah.
How about you, Adrian?
Yeah, I'm good. I bought VR, my first VR headset of the weekend.
We got your photo in our WhatsApp group, and we didn't get a photo of you in the VR headset.
You won't.
I want to see you just like doing Beat Saber or something.
So I've nearly fallen over a couple of times, and I've had some real horrendous motion sickness trying to fly a plane and stuff like that.
Really?
But I've been loving it. So yeah, no, I'm really
cool.
good. But it's a weird experience.
Do you have an area cordoned off in your living room, or are you kind of just free wandering?
Well, yeah, I've only got a little sort of living room area, so it's just what's there. So I've already had to refund a game because I bashed the wall with the controller.
Oh no!
And I nearly did it a second time, and I was like, I can't play this game. And they do a thing where within 2 hours of you buying it, you can ask for a refund. And they pretty much refund it because they know that people have problems with different VR things. And I was just like, yeah, that's
not working.
So I'm having to be very careful with what I buy because of the size of my living room. But I'm still very much enjoying it.
Was that like a slashing game? Are you trying to like hack people and just like smashing the wall?
Yeah, it's Virtual Hot, I think it's called.
Oh, right.
Red Hot VR. I can't remember what it's called.
Red
now.
Hot VR sounds like a very different game.
That's the is that the shooty one?
Yeah, so time only moves as you move.
Yeah.
So kind of you're standing still and looking at what all the problems
Super
are,
hot.
and then trying to work. Super hot. That's
Super
it.
hot.
Trying
That
to
doesn't
work
sound
out.
like a game. That sounds like something else.
Yeah, no, you're trying to work out what to do in the next situation.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to grab for things that are quite far away repeatedly, which you don't do in a lot of the games that I've played so far.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm definitely, and I kept hitting the wall when I went to go and grab for something, and because you want to do it quickly so you can stop time again.
Okay, so you're just punching the walls, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Punching holes in his walls.
Better that than the television.
So it's true. Yeah.
So we're just all glad that Super Hot was a video game and not a dirty weekend. So that's all good.
What are you, JP?
I've been fine. Yeah, I've been good. Probably better than T.
Everyone's better than me.
No, you're beating me, mate.
No, okay.
It's just been like since Essen, it's been full on.
Yeah.
In a good way, I think.
Yeah.
It's been.
Yeah.
I think it's reignited a little bit more kind of passion for the hobby, which I didn't think was possible. Which is probably dangerous, but yeah, we've got a load of new games to churn through. Obviously, jumped on the gaming rules stream kind of a couple of times as well. I know you have, Adrian, as well, and it's just nice to be playing some new things and trying some other games out. So yeah, been enjoying it. Shall we talk about the games then?
Yeah.
Shall we move on? Let's do it. So we're here in this next segment, which is obviously Let's Talk About Hex, where we talk about all of our board gaming shenanigans. So Becky, you're keen to go?
I am. I'm going to do a little double bite of the apple here because I can't really talk
breaking
about
the rules, breaking. I thought only first player could break the rules.
Well,
Screw you, JP. Carry on.
yeah,
fair enough.
babe, I'm ill. Let me
All right,
go.
you can have one. Go on, Barry.
Basically, I'm going to talk about this because I can't really talk about it, so this is not my actual thing. But I've been playing the prototype version of Unfringe.co's latest game, makers of Zuli. We all know, big fan of that. Called Molehill Meadows. Like I say, can't talk about the gameplay or what actually happens, except to say, really, really liked it, and was thinking about how I could do better next time after I'd had the first go, while I was bimbling around my house doing household chores and things, which, as we mentioned before, I think is a good kind of mark of a really good game.
Yeah.
Your kind of mind think, oh, what's the puzzle here? How can I crack? Oh, I'd like another go. So, yeah.
So this is really awkward for us because we've not played it. We don't know anything about it. We're in the listeners' shoes right now.
Watch this space. It's very different from Zuli, except for the fact that it is simple on the outside, crunchy on the inside.
Okay.
Armadillo. Yeah. So it's got a very, a nice premise, nice simple premise. However, there's a lot of, variability. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all you're going to say.
That's all I've got to say about that.
There you go. Hopefully, Chris, she's not let any secrets out there subliminally. So
I'm thinking about the game plan. Can you get that?
Fair enough.
That armadillos reference can only be applicable to a handful of people.
Yeah.
Like one country.
That's a good point to bring it up. One country and born of a similar time frame to when we were born.
Mid-80s.
Yeah, early mid-80s born.
It was a Dime Bar advert.
It was definitely a Dime Bar advert.
My main thing.
What's your main course?
My main course is it's got to be Septima.
Yeah.
So played like a very quick couple of rounds of this when I bought it in Essen. Talked into it by you guys. Totally all your fault for buying it.
I'm not even.
He's not even going to try and pretend that it wasn't.
I'm not even pretending.
I mean, I
wanted to play it one evening.
It has to be said that I don't take a lot of convincing with that, do I really, for buying games?
No.
I was about to say, considering you blamed it on someone else, you went, I'm going to go off and watch a video while you were at Essen, and half hour later had bought the game. It didn't feel very much like
it.
Well, I was just more concerned that you were going to moan at me for taking up room in the car. But, anyway, I bought it. We played a couple of rounds that evening, which kind of... Was it just enough to kind of whet the appetite and make you think, oh, I'm really looking forward to playing this? We actually played it last night. You popped around JP, didn't you? And really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. We played the basic version and then cleaved straight on and played the full advanced version.
The full game.
Yeah. And needless to say, curly beaters both times, obviously. But I had really good fun. It was really interesting to see the differences between the basic version, which I think is a really good primer. And speaking as a person who isn't normally into that kind of level of crunchy Mindclash kind of games, I feel like I'm a proper gamer now.
No,
you were before.
But
I really enjoyed the level of thinking, but that it ramped up in a way that felt manageable.
Yeah.
I'm glad actually. I was reading the rules and there's like a little pop-up thing that's a raven talking to you, and it says something along the lines
Does it sound like this?
It sounded exactly like that, in my mind. And it says something along the lines of, oh, think you're good at gaming, do you? Don't think about trying the more advanced one first. I thought, well, I'm not going to ignore a raven.
The raven.
I don't. That would be implying that I know more than a raven, which is definitely not true. So I'm going to follow the rules for the first time in my life. And we did the basic version, which was really good. Enjoyed it, and then did the full. Yeah, with the ritual track and the right track, and it was really good. Really enjoyed the game. Beautiful graphics, kind of not easy gameplay, but you're basically selecting one of 8 or 9 actions if you play the basic game.
I think you're all right. It is easy gameplay.
Yeah, but the thinking and the it's got just enough of what is the game state going to look like in a minute that I can still kind of keep up with. That involves you having to think, well, I'm going to go there, and then if someone goes and does something else, like heals the people you wanted to heal, thanks JP.
You're welcome.
With the right kind of colour ointment that I had.
You're welcome.
Then you have to think, oh no, I need to change my game plan now. And I'm not used to that kind of level of having to change my one-track mind.
My one plan.
One-plan mind.
Yeah, plan A. Yeah. That's it.
Really, really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to next time we play it.
Yeah,
and it's very in keeping with the time of year.
It is, isn't it?
It's kind of a nice wintry game.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's really good. I really enjoyed it. And I've got my copy now, but we obviously played yours that you got from Essen. And there's a little bit of part of me when you said, "Oh, I've set the base game up." I was like, "No," but you have to remember that it's not always about me.
Well, I did. If it's any consolation, I did text you, just as I was about to set it up.
Yeah, I missed it.
You were driving. Yeah, so you were consulted.
So you had to consult the Raven.
So I had to listen to the Raven instead. Yeah. So if you'd have got in there first, I'd have set up the full one. But actually, It played quite quickly, considering it was a brand new game for everybody, I think.
Yeah, it's the Mindclash's latest. It's people are always going to go, where does it rank? That's usually the next question that comes. Where does it rank? For you, Becky, it's a bit difficult for you to answer.
Oh yeah, it's the top one for me.
Yeah, it's the top one.
Well, I mean, the only thing I've got to compare it to is Astra, and I think it can't really be compared.
No.
I like Astra still. I think it does have its problems. We haven't played it much since that sort of brand new out of the box excitement times. That's not to say I won't go back to it, but I think it's just a very different game to the rest of Mindclash's catalogue, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, this sits at number 1 for me.
Fair enough.
But I will still play Carry-On. I will do it.
You should do it.
Yeah.
It is a beefy boy.
It's
girl,
beefy.
But like you say, the what you're doing is straightforward.
Yeah.
In terms of your actions,
yeah.
it kind of logically makes sense, apart from the theatre. That always takes a bit of explanation. Yeah. But in terms of what you're supposed to be doing, you get it.
Yeah.
But it's just the planning.
Yeah.
It's the forward planning in it.
Well, I'm glad I feel like a bit like I've levelled up, if I'm honest, with my kind of understanding of games a bit more, and just kind of that next level of having to think a little bit more further down the line, which is not something I've normally had to think about. And I'm just going to throw this in there because I'm super excited. I beat Curly and Ark Nova the other day.
So did I. Again, I think, yeah.
We were playing on Board Game Arena. And I was really ill, so I'm counting that as a double win.
So has he announced his leaving of the Ark Nova community now that he's been beaten repeatedly?
Yeah, I think he's lost twice now, so he has to leave.
That's it.
Yeah, see you later, pal.
But I mean, he's beaten me about 7 times in it, so this is a very small proportion. But I'm just enjoying the win because it doesn't happen very often.
Just very quickly back to Septima. I think the thing that I like about that game, the mechanic, is that first bit of the round, you're selecting your card, and you've got 9 cards in your hand. And you're like, right, what's everyone doing? That's what everyone starts with. What are you thinking?
It encourages you to have a dialogue, whether you actually follow through with what you're saying you're going to do, or whether you're lying completely. And
it's weird, in a good way, because you're like, actually, I want to know that you're going to move, because if you move, I'm going to play my move, and then we both have the matching bonus. And then we can both do a more powerful version of the action at a cost of suspicion, which is a track that rises, and then witch hunters kind of look out of their huts and try to capture your witches and chuck them into a trial, and they get maybe rescued or exiled in air quotes because they're witches, and it's.
I think what happens to them starts with an X, but I don't think it's exiled.
Executed maybe.
Yeah.
But they don't say that in the rule book, do they? Say exiled. No. But it's that dialogue. It's the fact that you maybe want to bluff your partner. Maybe you may want to bluff your opponent.
I didn't want to bluff my partner.
Yeah.
I did.
And you kept feeding him with matching.
But only when it benefited me.
Fair. But that's the bit I really enjoy, which is quite unique in the game. So, Adrian, what have you been playing, mate?
I have been burning my way through my shelf of shame. Or shelves of shame, as it is at this point.
Corners.
Multiple Kallax cubes at this point, full of games I haven't played. So, obviously, a good chunk of those are Essen related purchases. But what I thought I'd talk about is Evacuation, which actually isn't on my shelf of shame. It was one I nearly bought at Essen, but didn't. So, Evacuation is I'm going to ruin his surname like everyone else seems to, I'm sure, but Vladimir Suuchy.
Sounds good.
From Delicious Games, which is his own company. Basically, he designs all the games that they produce, so it's kind of his own thing. I was on the Gaming Rules YouTube channel with friend of the channel Paul, and I was joined by stalker of the channel Marcus.
I saw him on the video. I'll look at these like peas in a pod.
So we all played a game of Evacuation, and I had a lot of fun with it. The basic premise is that I can't remember whether you've just ruined the previous world, or like the sun's about to explode, or for some reason you have to leave the old world behind. It's knackered for whatever reason. You have to leave it and go to a new world, which is kind of like Earth 2 or whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to think of the name.
New Caprica.
New Caprica, that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah. So you're going to New Caprica essentially, but not in Battlestar Galactica world. So you're going to the new world, and one of the kind of main points is that when you start, you're producing all of your resources on the old world, and all of your population is sat on the old world, and you need to sort of move it, shuttle it across in spaceships to the new world. And as you shuttle it across, you produce more stuff on the new world and less stuff on the old world, because there's now a population on the new world. And you keep doing that over several turns, and you still have to feed the people that are left on the old world, and you have to feed the people that are on the new world, as well as build everything you need to build in order to win the game. So you're kind of playing this real balancing act of moving what you need to across, but not too fast, or finding a way to shuttle it back as well, so that you're feeding both populations.
Interesting.
And building what you need on both sides. So there's no point building a spaceship on the new side when most of what you're doing is shuttling it across from the old side to the new side. Same as there's certain buildings and things you need to build on the new side, and sometimes you've just got the resources on the old side and it's better to build it there and transport, and sometimes you'll have it on the new side and you just build it there where you want it, sort of thing. So you're playing this real sort of balancing act of making sure you've got what you want to produce where you want to produce it, or the ability to ship it across to the new world as you go. And mechanically it does it in a few different ways, but it all kind of comes together quite nicely. There was a couple of bits I was like, not too sure that that's a clean way of doing it, and it's a bit maybe awkward. And I personally kind of bought into, like, there's like these abilities where depending upon how you set up on the new world, you gain extra production, but you have to buy the card and play the card. And I didn't realise how powerful it was, and I bought the wrong cards and stuff like that. But for the most part, for a first playthrough, it seemed remarkably smooth. And I got quite a bit of AP in the last turn, because if I managed to find one extra production, I would have won the game. And so I was trying to scramble to get the right hex with all what I needed on, and it didn't matter which way I went. I was one short of it, and I was like, But otherwise, it's really good, and a really interesting mix of mechanisms. There's kind of an action selection at the bottom where you put a card, and those cards do different actions in different slots, but also the different slots are worth different values for going along a track, and the further along the track the more you get to do. So the most efficient actions have a lower number, but it means you get up the track slower, so it gives you less options, whereas the sort of the generally weaker options, or the ones that don't give you as much, are powerful, and it gets you up the track quicker, and you're kind of trying to work out what combination of these things you need, as well as trying to have to manage moving everything from the old world to the new world, and making sure all the options. So there's, I would say it's right at the top end of mid-heavyweight.
Okay.
And it's mostly a solo experience. You're mostly working out your own puzzle, but there's enough of chances of blocking people and stuff that there is enough going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, really interesting. I picked up Underwater Cities while I was at Essen because it's quite cheap, and it's the same designer, the same company. And while I've been told that there's not a lot of overlap in mechanics in it, there's a similar feel, similar sort of style to them. So it now has really hyped me to get Underwater Cities off of the
That has been
shelf.
One game that's passed me by, Underwater Cities.
Yeah.
I remember it coming out. I remember a lot of buzz about it.
Yeah.
Loads of people love it. And I think it still gets a lot of love today.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's why I picked it up, was because
Yeah.
it was nearly half the price of Evacuation on an Essen deal, and I was like, I don't know, but I'll go with the older one that I've not played, that's cheaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Evacuation was really good, and I think there's going to be quite a few people who get a lot of plays out of it, because there's different ways to approach moving all your stuff from the old world to the new world.
Yeah. Variability in strategies and...
Yeah. Reminding me
Sounds cool.
that parable that you've got, like, foxes on one side of an island and ducks on the other side, and you've got to keep moving things back and forward to kind of balance.
So you
things.
never leave the fox.
Yeah, with a chicken or whatever. I don't know why I just got that little mental image as you were talking about.
I thought you meant like a dog that has a bone, goes to the lake and then drops the bone, and because it wanted the bone from its reflection and then lost the bone.
No,
not that
that's
one.
definitely not where I was.
That's different one, isn't it?
Yeah, different.
You've got a fox, a chicken,
No, I know.
feed on one side, and you have to move it across. I remember trying to work that one out.
No, it sounds good. It's one I saw at Essen. I wasn't really like I don't know. It didn't kind of grab me and think, oh, I need to check this out. But now I've kind of looked at it and checked some vids out and things. I'm like, I should have checked that out, because I think that's probably up my street. But we'll see.
It was on my list, and then it just so happened to say Underwater Cities was cheaper, and I thought I'll pick that one up instead. And then when Paul was like, do you want to come and play Evacuation? Yes, please.
Yes, please. Yeah, fair enough. T.
Yeah, so while you guys were at Essen, I was down Cornwall, so I played lots of games. Lots and lots. But the one I wanted to mention now is the one that was most unexpected that I'd really enjoy was Tiny Epic range was Tiny Epic Dinosaurs.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. I love a good worker placement. I think we all do. So it's just a tiny little box, and you open it up and you put down like four little boards. I mean, little kind of cards. So it's a small game. You got tiny little dinosaurs, cute little dinosaurs. Becky, you would love them.
Oh,
right?
That sounds
You get
cool
a large carnivore, and you get like a smaller carnivore, like a little raptor or like a T-Rex, you can call it. Or you get a large herbivore and a small herbivore. So it's very simple. You got 4 different dinosaurs. You get about 5 workers in the game. You get an extra one at a certain point, at round 5 or 4. I can't remember. Somewhere there, isn't it? Yeah. And you get one bigger worker placement, so you can put them on someone else's spot. So it's the same usual kind of thing. Random. Culture. So your spots, you just gotta. You can go out and capture dinosaurs, the ones you want, which is quite a cool mechanic. So you got to roll a little dice, and if you roll a net, means you caught it fine. You get the dinosaur that you wanted, the spot you wanted. Or if you roll an egg, unfortunately, you get 2, which is a bad thing because they breed. And then
it can be a bad thing.
It can be, but it could be a good thing.
If you know what you're going in for.
Yeah. And if you get like I think it was a cross, I can't remember the symbol, but a miss, you go into swipe, yeah, like a claw mark. That's right.
Raptor slash.
Yeah. You go into med bay, which isn't a bad thing. You still keep your dinosaur, but it frees up the space for another person, basically.
Okay.
It's quite a good little thing. Yeah, and then you do that, and then you got a research section where you can research cool little dinosaurs that have really cool abilities for the game or end-game scoring, depending on which ones you get. But another section of barriers, because you've got your own little map where you've got to build your own little closures. So you've got to get your dinosaurs, you collect them, then you've got to make sure you be able to put them into enclosed areas. So that's the same old aspect. They can share an enclosure, or you can't have mixed. You can make them big, so you hold 3, but if you have 2 in one enclosure, they breed. And then you've got to make sure you can feed them for the resources of food.
Sounds very Uwe Rosenberg, but with dinosaurs.
With dinosaurs.
Circle of life, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Circle of life.
It's very cool. It's like a tiny little Ark Nova map where you've got little pretty barriers and make sure you do it the right way so you can fit them.
Well, is it Uwe Rosenberg? Because we all know that Uwe Rosenberg's breeding method is it doesn't matter how many sheep or animals you have, you just add 1.
Yeah.
No, this is for every 2 you add 1.
So it's more natural.
Yeah. Every 2 you add 1, yeah.
That just never makes sense and it's very irritating.
It's 4 sheep. We breed and have 5.
Yeah. And there's a penalty as well if you can't feed them, you don't have enough food. The meat eaters, they escape and they eat one of your other dinosaurs on the way out. But you can choose. And if
you choose the fate of
you can, which is quite important part of the game. I think sometimes you might want to choose which one gets eaten. And then if the herbivores, if they escape, they destroy a barrier. So you use the closure. But you only do it once, so it's not too punishing. So if you had 3 dinosaurs that you couldn't feed, only 1 punishment. So it happens once in that turn. It was really, really good fun. I really enjoyed it. The idea is to fill the contracts at the top, so you've got to have 2 big meat eaters and 1 little herbivore. There's little contracts, and when you fill them, you can try and chain it with your beginning objective. You got a hidden one, and if you can chain it, you can pull off 2 at the same time, and you get a few pieces in the game.
That sounds really good. It sounds like what I thought Dinosaur Island was going to be.
Yeah,
which isn't. I mean, I don't mind that game, but what you've just described to me sounds what I thought that game was going to be.
Yeah, it's great. It's travel as well, so it's so small. You just put it on the table,
and
it's just great. You just bring it here.
Gameling Games?
Gameling Games, Scott Helms.
Yeah, so they do a lot of the basically tiny epic games. So it's small boxes, but they pack a punch for what's in them.
Yeah, we played another one, Tiny Epic Planets, which is very good, but it was only my brother playing, so you need more players for that.
Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Galaxies, yes. Tiny Epic Galaxies, which is supposed to be the best one, I think, as well, the highest rated of them all.
Yeah, it's probably my favourite out of the 2 of them, but Dinosaurs is a really close second for me. Definitely. I think it's fantastic, and it feels like it gives you loads of options, but if you make a couple of missteps, that's your game done. So if something breaks out when it shouldn't, game done. If you don't fulfil that chain contract when you need to, game you're going to lose to someone else around the table.
Yeah.
And so it's still fairly tight game to try and win it, but actually it gives you quite a lot of options to stay in it if you want. You know, so if you've got 4 people around the table,
nice.
Yeah, doesn't feel too punishing, but to win it is quite tough.
Yeah, I mean you play about 50 minutes, 40 minutes, I think, in the max if there's more players. But
that's a nice
it's
time,
a quick
isn't it?
game, and it's a great worker placement. It's fantastic. Really enjoyed that one.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to be quick with my one. It is I broke my cherry on Stefan Feld games.
Yeah, you did.
So we played Castles of Burgundy. So Adrian very kindly brought his very shiny deluxe version to my house. And we cracked open the game. I've been keen to play Castles for a long time, it's been a game that, again, you should play Castles of Burgundy.
It's one of those kind of...
It's one of those classics.
Integral games, isn't it? She says, having not played it either.
You would love it.
Okay.
I reckon you would enjoy Castles.
I think everyone around this table would enjoy it. JP was the one I was a bit like, I don't know if JP's going to enjoy this or not. But yeah, you seem to really enjoy it.
Loved it. Now I think, should I get... No, don't get it. You don't need to get it. Stop it. Stop.
It's in the grid.
JP, stop it. So I haven't got it. But no, I'm not going to explain it. I think everyone probably knows what Castles is, and we've explained it on the podcast a number of times. But it was quite chill, but it still had a good level of decision making, because essentially you're just rolling 2 dice, and then you're picking the actions based on the numbers or what you can do. But obviously the dice can be mitigated through the workers. You can nudge them up and down and spend them, and so it's not all complete random nonsense. There's obviously an element of randomness in there because you're rolling dice, but that kind of makes the game for me. It's like, I really need a 4 or a 6 and maybe a 2 I can do something with. Balls, I've got a 3 and a 5.
Well, Davey had, I think, what sums up Castles beautifully for me, because he'd spent all his workers in previous turns and then was like, I need anything but 2 4s, because I can get everything. I can just score something as long as I don't get 2 4s, and then rolled 2 4s.
Oh, brilliant.
But if he'd left himself with one more, because I think he had like 1 worker left, and anything else would let him do what he needed to do. But if he'd left himself a couple of workers, then he would have still been able to do it. But it's that balancing act of, do I use the workers earlier or not? And it summed up, Davey's last turn summed up how I feel about Castles of Burgundy quite nicely.
But yeah, I just generally, I could have racked that up and gone again. You know, it's one of them games like, we could just play it again. And you were showing us the Vineyards expansion, and I thought, that looks interesting. So that's something.
You liked an expansion?
Yeah.
Blimey, that's never happened.
It's just
before.
the fact that these boards that you had, obviously it's the deluxe version, it has like I don't know if it's 3 layers, is it 4 layers?
Well, yeah, it's triple layer 1, 2, 3. It might be 4
layer. It might be a 4 layered board.
Wow.
And it looks like a kind of sloping like hillside of where the vineyards would go.
Nice.
And it just looks cool. I'm a sucker for layers, as it were, but no, it just looks fun, and loved it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Really good, and thank you for bringing it around.
You both convinced me. I want to play Tiny Big Dinosaurs and Castles of Burgundy.
I think you should give it a go, Becky. And if you play with Adrian's copy, you'll get to play with his acrylic hex pieces, which are very nice. Yeah. But really enjoyed it. I recommend if anyone hasn't played it or has kind of thought, it's old, I don't want to play it.
I'm put off by the title, not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, it might be Castles of Beige, isn't it? And it's not the most exciting of themes, but just ignore that. Go in. Mechanically, it's fun. It's now time for our main event, where we are going to talk and bring back an old friend, which is Niche Number 1's. So if this is your first Niche Number 1's episode, then God damn it, go back to our old ones, because we've done 4 of these already. And thanks to Adrian's brainchild from way back when, last year. It's essentially an episode where we take a variety of categories and we kind of pick our favourite games in these really niche circumstances. And it's a good way of actually kind of thinking of particular games that we might not have played for a while, or you think, oh yeah, I should go and play that. And it's really good to kind of go through your collections, go through the games you've played, trying to find ones that really fit these categories. And I've always enjoyed doing these episodes. I think everyone kind of likes to jump on and have a little play, don't they? So
normally when I'm deciding, I have to stand there looking at the shelf. Because I have to kind of really,
I'm on BGG. I'm literally just going, right. Does that one fit? Oh, God damn it. Adrian's picked a really difficult one. He always does. So anyway, I've got a few to run through. So shall we get on with it?
Yeah, let's do it.
So our first niche number 1 is your favourite game without cards.
It's a tricky one, this.
It's a tricky one.
Really, really tricky.
Most games have cards in them. And just to kind of stipulate, cards being card-shaped sizes used for player aids, used for playing actions, holding things in your hand, those kinds of things. I'm not saying that the product of the material of card cannot be used, because I think that would wipe out every
single game ever.
The box is made out of card. So that's kind of what I'm meaning. So yeah, shall I go first?
Go for it.
So I have picked Eclipse.
Knew it.
You see, you got me, didn't you? And it took me a while. I had to go through my collection, looking at it and go, and I don't think I've got that many games that don't have cards, but Eclipse was one I was thinking, going for all the components in the tray, in my head going, right, well, there's the tech tray, that's fine. You got that bit, yeah, you got the player trays, that's all good. And if, oh no, you've got those starting player, first player, and the traitor, but they're not card, they're like proper chonky cardboard bits.
Not like a playing card.
So it's not like a playing card. So I thought I'd allow that, seeing as it's my episode.
Yeah, you're allowed anyway.
So yeah, Eclipse. And then it kind of got me excited about the new factions that are coming, which should be here soon, because I put that pre-order in a long time ago, and we got to see them at Essen, or see the material, see they kind of laid it all out.
Prototype, wasn't it?
Yeah, they laid them all out on the table. They weren't demoing it or anything, so we had a little look through. And the biggest thing I'm actually excited, I'm going off topic, but I don't care. The biggest thing I'm excited about the Eclipse kind of new factions and species that are coming out is that they're bringing the alliance mode from an old first edition Eclipse into the game. And that's where you can actually formally team up with someone and form an alliance.
Well, for the whole game.
For the whole game, and win as a team.
Ooh.
So if you're feeling that maybe on your own it's not going to happen, and I've been there in Eclipse, it's not going to happen, you may go, shall we team up and try and take down someone who maybe has a lot of territories and things? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It's a great choice, and one I actually didn't think of, but it is a great choice.
Yeah, took me a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, who's going next? Adrian.
This was really tough.
Yeah.
Like, really tough. All of my favourite games...
Who put it in? Because it wasn't me. This is not my question.
It's not my question.
Has cards in it. And again, there's... Because Castles of Burgundy was my first thought.
Yeah.
But some of the expansions in the solo mode have cards. So I discounted it from the list. So I'm going to play the new thing I picked up at Essen. I've played it a few times now, and it makes me chuckle, which is Viking Seesaw.
Oh, the little balancing
definitely doesn't have-
game.
It definitely doesn't have cards in it.
It's a Viking.
Yeah, I'm having so much fun with this little game at the moment. It takes everything I loved about Men at Work, which has cards in, and it boils it down into this tiny little box of just pure awesome balancing stuff, and trying to balance things in a way that undoes the opponent as well. Because if when it teeter-totters, or even when it doesn't teeter-totter, if stuff comes off, they've got to add it to their pile, and the winner is the one with the fewest things in their pile at the end of the game. So it's kind of got that thing of Men at Work where you're almost trying to play stuff so that it mucks up other people's turns, as
Vindictive placing,
as well as doing the dexterity thing. It's just that it's a seesaw, so it looks like a little boat with a sort of a bit underneath, a fulcrum underneath, so it kind of teeter-totters as you put things on, and then you've just got a variety of different shaped, different weighted items, and you need to keep putting them on each side, and then as soon as it tips, you take like a little cargo bit off of the centre, and that adds to your pile of stuff you've got to add on, and then once all of those cargo bits in the centre, you just basically go, well, who's got what left?
Yeah.
And it's a great little dexterity game that, as I say, for me, kind of replaces Men at Work in a tiny little box.
Right then, Becky.
Yeah. So my pick is Baron Park.
Nice.
There's no cards, is there?
I don't know.
No, I
don't
don't know.
it. So
It's not.
I'm glad Adrian's saying that.
Yeah,
there you go.
I didn't actually get it out of the box to look because, all honesty, I was actually walking around the supermarket with Curly telling me the questions that we'd had, so I didn't have the chance to actually do what I would normally do on a niche number one. But I like Baron Park because it's really quick. I think the gameplay is different every time because you're covering up different parts of the map and using different sort of polyomino kind of shape, Tetris shapes,
different
whatever.
Objectives each time as well.
Yeah, and it's quick and easy. It's almost, I would say, probably language.
It's language independent.
Yeah,
it's
as long as you understand the rules.
Yeah.
Which are, you could probably, even if you didn't speak someone's language, you could probably explain it to them
just by
pointing at things, which I think, okay, that doesn't necessarily make a good game, but I think it's a really useful...
It's accessible then.
Yeah, really accessible. And what's not to like about Bear Tetris?
Yeah.
Apart from, I'll tell you what's not to like about Bear Tetris, the stupid thing that comes in the box that allegedly is there to help you put your pieces in different bits. I mean, get out.
The insert organizer is legendary.
It's not even, I had to Google, and I'm good at Kallaxes and stuff like that.
To build this thing? Or
so
it's three pieces of card.
3 bits of cardboard that you kind of put together into a Y shape. Yeah. And sort of the long bit goes from corner to corner.
Yeah.
And then the other bit goes to the other corner, so it's almost like an X without one leg on it.
Got it. Yeah.
And then you're supposed to use that somehow to organise all of these bits of cardboard.
I mean, it's just nonsense. It's nonsense.
It is nonsense.
Does it go underneath it as well? Does it all slide? Everything goes.
I mean, it probably does.
Yeah.
I chucked it instantly.
It's absolute joke. I mean, I know that I'm a bit of a, sort of insert
board jazzle snob.
Yeah. But folded space it is not. But I just don't know why they even invented it.
Other inserts are available. Nice. T, did you find one?
Yeah, I've got one. I don't own it, but I played it again when I was away.
Doesn't have to be.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's Carcassonne.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's all it is tiles and worker placement. There's no cards.
Yeah, one of the first games I ever played.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. We just played 2-player. I think 2-player's the best player because it's about 60 tiles and you just turn over, put your work if you want to claim a road or...
Unless you're Adrian, he rages over Carcassonne.
You like it?
I love Carcassonne, but I have had a few games where I've just been waiting for one piece and it never comes to me, but everyone else manages to pull it. And as a joke, I've just sort of said, I'll flip the table if you get this piece now. And they've got it. So I've jokingly sort of just, my copy, just flung it on the floor. Just because it's like, well, you've won by a country mile. Because
I can't get
what I want. Yeah. And you've won farms and all that lot. So yeah, no, it's a good game.
It's a really good game. Really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Is that the first time you played it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
My brother introduced it to me. Yeah.
Classics all around.
Yeah.
Right? There we go. That's the first one down. Let's get into the next one, which is favourite game you should sell, but you just can't bring yourself to do it.
I've got an answer for that straight away.
Come on.
And it makes me sad, but I really should sell Everdell.
That's not what I would ever expect. I agree with you, but
I love.
Wow.
I've got the big box, and I love it. And the pieces are beautiful, and it's about cute little woodland critters that are like anthropomorphized with little glasses. It's singing my language.
You play it quite a lot, don't you? Why do you think you should sell it?
I don't play it hardly at all.
I'm so shocked.
I know we hardly ever play it. Maybe the fact that it's in the big box is what puts us off, but I don't think it is. We just realised when we were going through all our collection yesterday, I don't think I've taken it off the shelf for I don't know how long. And there's always something I'd rather play. Yeah. And that makes me a little bit sad in my little woodland critter.
Do you think it's been superseded now in a way?
I think it has for me. If I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And
it happens.
We've got the deluxe, super swanky, beautiful window, and it's a beautiful game.
Great.
I will never sell it.
Yeah.
I will never sell it unless I needed the money desperately. Of course, it's not like my firstborn child, but it's almost that close. It is. I will never sell it while I have the option to never sell it. But I don't play it. I just don't play it anymore. But it's got that beautiful tree. Oh, God. It's making me sad thinking about why I don't play it, but...
Yeah, but are you going to rectify this and, you know what, I'm going to put an event in tomorrow?
Maybe I should. Maybe I should. But I'd rather play something else, to be honest.
That's fair.
That's
sad times,
fair. That's a great answer and not one I would have expected. That shocked me.
I know. I'm shocked myself when I
have to make a quick footnote, though. Because I spoke to Curdy about your...
He's not bloody selling my Everdell.
No, you didn't mention about that. What he's mentioned is that you're obviously looking at your collections, because they're all together on one collect shelf, and you said, we need to make sure we call this and reduce them down. And Curly's mentioned it seems to be his games are the ones that has been reduced and not yours.
Well, that's his own choice. If he wants to sell his games, he's an absolute liberty to sell them. I, however, will not be persuaded.
I'm keeping my half.
There's a game on the big box of games that I'm going to sell.
I know, I was only winding you up.
Well, I might take it off because I don't want to.
So is Everdell yours then?
Yeah, well...
This is joint.
If a divorce happened and we had to split the box, so I don't know what we'd do. Because
I
think...
You'd take the axolotls, wouldn't you?
If you keep taking Curly's space while he's selling stuff, that might be on the...
I just love that there's a meta game that's going on your shelf. It's like a war between two invading countries. And he's getting rid of some. Yours are taking over the space. It's great.
There's a distinct kind of mine, like a continuum of colours. Mine starts on the right, and his are on the left. The stuff at the bottom that he really dislikes, like all my small little silly games, they're staying there. I don't care what he says about that. And then we've got some sort of like a common ground, like neutral ground in the middle. things like Mansions of Madness and sort of common ground in the middle. But if he wants to sell his own games, that's absolutely crack right on.
Yeah, anywho, Tambo.
Okay, so what I think I should sell because I never really play it anymore, is Doom. Now,
okay, yeah.
Okay, I bought it off you.
You did?
I did, and I played it probably 4 or 5 times after I bought it off you. I've never played it since, and like you say, it's always something else to play. But I always think in the back of my head, I'm going to play it because I love that game.
Yeah.
And then, and I've also spent so much time painting all the figures.
You have? Yeah.
Doom, not Dune.
No, Doom.
Cool.
Doom, sorry, yeah, Doom.
No, I'm on the right page now.
Yeah. Doom. So I was like, I spent all that time and I can't go sell it. I should sell it, I don't play it, but I don't want to sell it because I put so much effort in painting the figures, and it's just, I do love the game. And always in the back of my head I'm thinking, I will play that sometime, we'll get.
And then something else comes along that you'd rather play, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly, and then you need at least 4 players with Doom as well, which is a bit of a... But, yeah, that's my pick of the day.
Fair.
Yeah.
Good choice. Adrian?
Can I give my choice to Becky so she can have a second stab?
Is this the one you don't have an answer?
I don't really have an answer because I sold all of my stuff that probably would have been on this list about 6 months ago.
Fair enough.
It's very good. I wish I could be more ruthless. I do.
Yeah, like if you'd asked me this sort of 6-7 months ago, I'd probably say Ghost Stories because it was the first game I ever bought.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that I love it, it's hard to put on the table because some people I know don't like it, and other people I think I don't want to teach this game to you because there's quite a bit going on to it for a co-op game, and it's very tough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, finally it was like 6 months ago. I was like, I haven't played that for nearly 2.5 years. I'm keeping it for sentimental reasons because it's my first board game I ever bought. Nah, it can go.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was probably one of maybe 2 games at the time that I thought I'm keeping these for sort of the wrong reasons, and they've stayed on the shelf for a while. But no, there's nothing on my shelf now. Like there's stuff I'm going to sell at GRIDCON, but it's had its day. It's gone.
You're very good at that.
I probably realised 2 months ago that I was like, no, that can go. I need more space on the shelf basically to put new games in I've bought. So that's got to go.
I was quite struggling with this. Like XCOM would have been the answer, but I've sold it. And it took me a while to sell that game, probably for the same reasons that you have for Ghost Stories. It was the first game.
One of your first games, wasn't it?
I have a lot of nostalgia and kind of love for it because it brought me back into the hobby, blah, blah, blah. And I eventually just went, look, you're not going to play this anymore, get rid of it. So I got rid of it. The one I've put on here is Game of Thrones. And I don't think I will ever sell it, but there are better games than Game of Thrones 2nd edition. It's old. It's 11 years old. I think it came out in 2012. It's a bit janky in places.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And we played it recently.
Rustic.
Had a great time with it, and I always have a great time with it. But sometimes with that game, when you play it, it can drag on. And we've had games where you get to a point where I always say to people, well, there's a few win conditions, right? You get to, first to 7 castles.
Yeah.
The most castles when the 10th round is ended, or the third unofficial win condition is when we can't be asked to play it anymore because it's been 7-8 hours.
Because you know who's going to win and everyone's given up.
And we just kind of go, nah, can't be bothered. And yeah, so I probably should sell it, like from a logical point of view.
Yeah.
But I don't think I will.
Yeah.
Just because it's just got that nonsense that you just throw in like once a year.
It was great fun, movie.
Yeah.
It's the banter, isn't it? It's just the whole way people get wound up.
Yeah.
I own it and I haven't played it, my own copy, for like 18 months, but it's not one that I would put on my list because I enjoy playing it and it offers an option to me that I don't have many other options on the shelf for, so it doesn't sit in that category for me. But yeah, I can understand why you sort of feel that way.
Yeah, it's kind of heart, it's what your heart's telling you and what your brain's telling you, kind of thing. Your brain's going, really?
You're lucky to get it twice a year to a table. If that.
Exactly. Yeah, but there you go. That's what it is. Okay, so the next niche number 1 that we have is favourite game that you wish with all your heart that you were better at, but you just aren't. And maybe never will be. So I'll go first. For me, it's Anachrony. Bloody love Anachrony.
I forgot about
one of my favourite games ever, let alone Mindclash game, but favourite games ever. And I seem to get worse at it.
I know that feeling.
I first played it and I got in the high 70s, 80s, which is a good score. You can get 90s and 100. That's a very good score in Anachrony. But when I look at my score history, it's like 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, bit of 60s, go back to the 50s, and then once I got a 40 odd. And
has it dipped since you've added in the expansions?
Dipped?
Was your high score without the expansions? Because
it probably would have been.
Some expansions do that where they lower the score.
They don't lower curlies though, do they?
Do they not?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's my point.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So in kind of relation to other people's, that it's low, and and I thought I was all right here, and then you kind of go, no, you're shit. It's just really annoying because I want to be good. Like I can play Tricarion, I can do all right at Tricarion. I can play Voidfall, can do all right at Voidfall. So I know I've got the mental capacity for it. It's just for some reason that game, I don't know. I can't figure it out. Maybe, or maybe I did figure it out and I've lost it.
You peaked too
anyway,
early.
it's love it, and I always will love it. And it might just be one that I have to kind of play solo for about a month solid just to make sure I get the strategies in my head. But that's my answer. Who's next?
Okay, all Mindclash games.
Just Mindclash games.
All of them. I love all of them,
yeah.
But I just wish I was better at all of them.
Yeah, I know, I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I really enjoy playing them, but I'm never win them, and I'm never that good at it because it's so big. But I enjoy playing it, but I wish I was better at it. Yeah. Some of the turns you see people take, you're thinking, oh, that combo really well. I don't do that. I just want to do better all the time.
It makes you feel crap, doesn't it? Sometimes you just think, I question that. Am I clever enough for this? Can I get there?
If I had to choose a specific one, I think it would be Weather Machine for me. I love that game, but I just is it Lacerda? Is it? It's not Mindclash.
Yeah, it's not Mindclash. But
okay, so.
It's allowed to be Weather Machine because that is tough.
Yeah, it is tough. My first game was good. I think it was Beginner's Luck, and I just came second. Davey just beat me.
That's the worst thing if you do
and
really
I got
well
worse
the
and
first
worse and
time.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? Because I've been there when you've looked into it. Because you first play, you're pushing buttons. Sometimes you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, and it can pay off. And you go, I feel really good about that. Yeah. And then you're like, can you recreate that? Nope.
That's why I don't want to ever play It's a Wonderful World ever again, because I did really well that first time we played it, just by going, I'm going to pick yellow things. Go on, just do it. And I did really well. And I know that if I actually tried next time and put thought into it, it would all go horribly wrong.
But yeah.
There we go. Weather Machine for me. There we go.
So it's a fair choice. Yeah. It's a tough game. But you guys?
Well, I'm going to have a humble brag here, I think, and say that I'd struggle with this list because I do pretty much all right.
Right, Becky?
Someone's head's got a bit bigger there.
Yeah. There's not enough room in this room. Yeah.
Normally, if I play a game like 2 or 3 times, I win it at least once, which would suggest that
I'd like that score.
At least on average, sort of thing, I'm probably doing all right because the people around the table with are also normally pretty good at these games. So I always think to myself, that's okay. So I really quite struggled with this one. The one I came up with was Marvel Splendor.
Okay.
Because I always seem to come second or third in that out of 4 players. I maybe have won it once out of 20 odd plays.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy both Splendors, both Base Splendor and Marvel Splendor. But yeah, I just don't have a great win record. I always feel like just one more turn would have won that for me or something.
Yeah. Do you do better with the Base Splendor than you do the Marvel Splendor?
I've only played, because I don't own Base Splendor, I've only played it once against actual people, and the rest of the time has been against the bots, and I do particularly well against the bots, I'm guessing because they're bots, on the app. Whereas Marvel Splendor, and I think I won the first game of Splendor I ever played, but Marvel Splendor, so I've played it a bunch of times, I've only won it once, and it's normally because I lose track of how many Avenger tags are out there, so for those who don't know Marvel Splendor over normal, I'm not going to explain full Splendor, but for Marvel Splendor, you have to get a mix of all of the colours to be able to unlock the final bit, and you have to get a top level card, which is a nice thing that they didn't have in Base Splendor, and you don't need to do in Base Splendor. You have to unlock one of the top level cards, but also there's a 3-point token which goes back and forth with whoever has the heroes with the most Avengers tags on them. And I always seem to lose track of that, or I think I'm just about to take it off someone and then they plant an Avenger that I didn't expect them to get. And then I end up losing by a couple of points normally.
My favourite game that I just wish I was better at is, not going to surprise anybody, Terraforming Mars. Yeah, I just feel like I spent such a lot of time playing that game. And I'm going to admit this around the table now and to all the listeners out there, I even got Curly to coach me, which was difficult to ask him to do in the first place because...
You're a little bit sick in your mouth.
A little bit sick in my mouth, yeah. But he's a really good teacher and it's very irritating. like I'd get him to set up like a hand of like your starting cards and a few prologues and a couple of corps, exactly like you have that to sit, because that's where we sort of highlighted that's where I was going wrong quite a lot of times. I was making bad choices because I'd get fixated on microbes or
microbes
or whatever. So we did a lot of, not him telling you you're wrong, because he doesn't do that. He just says, well, this is how I would have, and it's like, oh yeah, of course, that makes sense. So
just to recognise the patterns.
Yes,
of it.
exactly. And then give it, a week, and I do it again, and I'm just as crap as I was before.
You've just gone for microbes again, haven't you?
yeah. But it doesn't seem, nothing I seem to do to try and improve my play of this. I mean, I haven't tried very hard, I'm not going to lie. As in, like, probably the only thing I should do is play online maybe a lot. Something that I can play a lot, full games,
play the
and
app.
then it again, and then do it again, and then do it again.
Yeah.
But
I was just about to say, we play the app because you should get
I
used to the cards.
Yeah. I think maybe I have gotten a bit more used to playing games online. So I've just started playing quite a bit of Board Game Arena and actually really liking that. So maybe I should do it to improve my gameplay. But I've spent so many hours playing that game. Why am I still utterly crap? It just really winds me up. You'd think at least a couple of times I'd have just lucked out and come second.
It's happened to be.
But then when you play games with Curly, and he's your main person you play games with, you have to always accept that,
losing's on the cards.
Losing's on the cards more than
Tough to beat.
Yeah.
But when you do, it's lovely.
Yeah, but then, like when I beat him in Ark Nova the other day, I actually asked him, did something go wrong for you? Did you accidentally bin a card that you meant to because we were playing online?
You dropped your phone in the toilet.
I didn't really believe that it had actually happened. I mean, I was very lucky, but then it makes you think, I must have been just really lucky then. You don't ever feel like you should claim your victory because you feel like
no, you should absolutely
something mad must have happened.
You took down the champ.
Well, yeah, once out of the millions of times I've played.
It's always your last
You're only
win.
as good as your last game.
Only good as your last
exactly.
game, absolutely.
Yeah, Terraforming Mars should be better, but just
fair enough.
I'm not.
Fair enough. Right, we're going to change gears because it's your favourite game that gives you the most AP analysis paralysis.
As everyone seems to have AP thinking about this, I shall go. I think the game I'm going to choose is Smartphone Inc. So I think it's fair to say a lot of us in our group get analysis paralysis, and it's normally I've planned out my turn and the person before does a thing and suddenly all the plans are out the window, and they're quite heavy games quite often that cause this. Smartphone Inc. is not a particularly heavy game. It's sort of comfortably midweight, I would say. And there's a bit at the beginning where you have to take your screens and all that lot and you have to arrange them so that they give you the most things. And everyone gets AP, but because it's all at the same time, you don't really notice it. But it absolutely does in your head. You're like, I'm going to redo it. And there'll always be someone who's finished first, who's sat there waiting 5 minutes for everyone else to rearrange their tiles. But the other three players around it are all frantically doing the same as you. Trying to work out how to get the best combination of tiles in order to do it. And the tiles are double-sided in some, like for the big tiles, and so you kind of constantly flip, can I do, no, that hasn't worked, no, okay. And eventually you just have to kind of give up, especially in like the later rounds where you just like, I just have to go with what I can get. And so everyone has analysis paralysis, but most people are having it exactly the same time, which is why I like that game.
You're not waiting for the turn, are you?
Whereas quite often the worst kind of analysis paralysis is when someone's taking a 10-minute turn, 15, 20-minute turn, and you're like, oh, come on. Whereas I love that game, and I've played a few games of it now, and it keeps climbing up my list of games because AP happens all at the same time.
Yeah, that's good.
It surprised me. It was for what it does. It's a good fun game.
Good fun.
I haven't played it.
It
sounds good.
It's an easy teach as well because the stages that happen are on the board, and it's got a little marker that tells you exactly what stage is happening next.
Very obvious.
Oh, okay.
So it's really obvious. I've taught it several times now, and it's one of the smoothest teaches out there, I think, for the weight of game.
For me, I'm not say I struggle. I'm generally okay. There are moments, I think, as Adrian said, happens in a few games where you just get locked. But the one that calls out to me is probably Lorenzo or Magnifico. And the reason for that is the 4 towers that has basically 16 cards on them. And it's pretty much what you said, Adrian, is like you plan right, my turn, I'm going to grab the third card up on the third tower, and I've got my servants, I've got everything ready, the dice have rolled to what they need to be, perfect. But you're just not quite first in turn order, and then someone nicks that card, and then you have to reevaluate completely everything
in your life.
Yeah, to work out what to do and what combinations. And because there's 16 cards, you can't really memorise them all, and you're constantly scanning them, going, right, which one? And I really need that card. Yeah, but I can't afford that card. And you end up in this kind of panic station of, I need to move the game forward.
Yeah.
But you're now rethinking the entire kind of strategy and what you're trying to do, and you only really have 4 workers in the round, and one of them's crap.
That's the cousin, isn't it? The thick cousin.
Yeah, the cousin that you have to kind of pump with servants to make actually useful. It can't go anywhere because he's a 0. So yeah, it's really tight as a game. So when a card goes that you could afford and is perfect for you, the whole thing falls down.
I think one of the big things that certainly causes AP in myself is where I've planned maybe 1 or 2. And then I don't know why, but I'll quite often get this sat next to you as well, which is like, right, he's going to do one of these 2 things, so I'll do this. And he goes, no, I'm going over here. And just haven't even thought that he might do that. And I'm like, oh no.
Wild card.
Nothing's going to happen like I thought it would. And Lorenzo El Magnifico is quite good for that as well, because you're thinking, they wouldn't really want that. And then someone takes it and you're like, oh, I haven't even planned remotely for that happening.
So that's mine.
Mine's easy, and mine is Terraforming Mars again, but that's because I wish I was better at it. So I keep thinking I should know what to do with this. I should know how to, to get over this. Oh no, they've taken that, right. Well, what am I going to do now then? Oh, he's nicked all my plants. And I just get this kind of decision just falling. It's almost like you can see the Matrix, but none of it's making any sense. And I think you guys made a good point. I think maybe the turns aren't actually taking that long in the grand scheme of things. It's just my experience of them seems to be a lot longer because our general turns are quicker.
Yeah.
So if I was playing in a group with other people, maybe it wouldn't be as obvious.
Possible.
Who knows?
Fair enough. See.
So the one I said that came quickly to my friend was Skymines when we played. That gave me lots of AP, but I only played it once. I suppose a kind of reason why maybe, but it's the turns as far as you've got to think as far as ahead as you can.
Yeah, it's the planning of
the cards. And the next stage you'll think about 2 stages ahead and things like that. AP goes all over me, and I try and think of when my turn comes, but I just can't do it. And then
it's not only planning your round, it's planning the next round.
It's planning the next round ahead of that. But I only played it once, so it doesn't really count. So my other big favourite was Lisboa.
Yeah,
that's one. It's like when someone goes on the spot and you're like, oh, my whole turn's changed. I've got to think of something before someone gets back to me, and I'm still trying. And I always apologise a lot for that game as well because it takes a lot of time.
Is that more for the buildings that go down?
Yeah.
Because obviously in Lisboa it's not a kind of worker placement per se, is it? Because it's literally card play.
Yes, this is, yeah.
So, but the buildings is usually where, I'm going to open that public building or put a particular shop in or whatever, and you go, no, I need the resource for that.
Yeah,
the whole thing falls apart.
Follow action on that one as well, isn't it? The follow action can be quite.
Yeah.
Do I take the follow action now? I'm expecting this follow action to occur. All those kind of things can happen in this bar.
Yeah. So that's it really for me on the AP.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So we've now come to our last niche number 1, which is your favourite game that was worth all the hype.
Easy one for me, but it's quite specific. So I'm going to say Ark Nova with the Marine expansion. So I think Ark Nova, I thought originally, this is definitely worth the hype. Then it sort of, fell off for me a little bit. I kind of fell out of love with it just for a little bit. That came back again. But this Marine expansion's absolutely brilliant. Really, really refreshes the game. I think fixes all the problems that Ark Nova sort of was prone to. So when you've got that kind of shop of all your animals in the middle that just seem to sit there for ages. All right, every time you do you refresh the turn, the last 2 slip off, but it can take a long time. So now you've got this kind of new mechanic where a big wave comes along and
drags them into the ocean.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't drag them into the ocean.
Drowns them.
No.
Oh.
It washes them clean and they go off to live a lovely happy life somewhere else. Yes.
Under the sea.
But it does clear everything, and that's really nice because then you've got a whole fresh shop. So before, when your kind of reputation range is really kind of limiting what you're going to get, it's nice that you've got this far quicker turnaround. And it also means that you do kind of take from that quicker. So if you see something you like, you know you have to snap it quickly because there's a chance that the next card comes over. If it's got a wave symbol on it, it's all gone anyway. You can build over the edge of the map in certain circumstances. You can build over rock spaces and water spaces sometimes. Really good. You've got a different change of some of your base action cards. So you do a draft version of those. So that really changes up the game. And it's absolutely brilliant. I'm really glad that it has lived up to the hype. And it doesn't take much more room in the box.
But to confirm, your favourite mechanic is when all the useless animals get washed away.
No. No. Well, yes.
I don't particularly like I don't particularly follow hype as much, I think, as other people do. I quite often look at games that have got like pedigree or prestige or something like that. A lot of my favourite games are pre-2018, pre-2019, when I really started focusing on the board game community, not just enjoying board games and kind of not knowing anything about them. I really sort of started to dive into a lot of content and Board Game Geek and all that lot, and started like looking through stuff at that point. So a lot of my favourite games are pre-2018, pre-2019, or they're normally been out a year, 18 months before I start and play them. But the one that I did get caught up with a little bit was Furnace. So it's a sort of age of industrialisation is kind of the theme, but really it's an auction game where you're putting down certain chips onto cards to either get a bonus from them or to add them to your engine building, and you're just sort of building up points there. And it was one of those games where it didn't get masses of hype, but it got hype in the circles I look at a lot, like in sort of a lot of the content creators I looked at, and I thought, oh, okay, don't know about this, and really sort of wasn't sure about it. And then Davey mentioned he was picking it up, and mine and Davey's tastes don't always overlap, so I was suddenly not very sure about it. And we played it at GRIDCON, and fantastic, and I've played it quite a lot since, and I've bought the expansion. It was one of those where probably for the first time I felt like I wish I had got caught up in the hype a little bit more and just gone for it, but normally I'm not, if like the hype comes and goes and haven't played it, I'm not fussed, or happy to revisit it 18 months after the hype is over. So so it's one of the few that I got, and it is probably at least in my top 15 games.
It's cracking going.
Really enjoy it. So it was good.
So couldn't be more different. I just get caught up in all the hype.
Yeah.
Love the idea. Oh, this thing's coming out. Gotta get involved. And I wish I could be less easily swayed.
But I think that's the natural sort of way most people view the hobby, is they're all about the latest hotness and kind of what's new, and our group especially can be quite prone to it. And
I don't know what you mean.
Well, I think I am with other things. Like, I love the Harry Potter franchise, but was absolutely against it completely when it was all the big, the latest thing. Oh, I'm not reading that. As soon as I got involved in it and read the first book, and I only read the first book so that I could slate it from a knowledgeable side. But I loved it. I bought the rest of them within the next, I think it was only the rest of the 4 were out at the time. So with other things in my life, I don't like getting involved in the hype, but board games I can make an exception.
I mean, it's understandable, because with Kickstarter the way it is at the moment, that's one thing, and then also quite a lot of games come out and people don't get necessarily the chance to try it before they buy it. Some places they will do, so they'll just go out and buy it and then try it, and that's kind of where the hype builds, because you see a lot of people buying it and talking about it. And sometimes they're not even that great, the ones that get caught up in the hype, or they're not for a lot of people. But there we go.
So talking about getting caught up in hype, my favourite game that I think was definitely worth the hype was Voidfall. So it was one that I was very excited for at the beginning, got through the kind of campaign lull, and then I was thinking, actually, is this going to be for me? I mean, I like 4X, I love 4X games, but there's just something about it that I didn't know whether it would work or not. And then obviously it arrived, played it around 6, 7, 8 times, and love it. And it's just definitely worth it. Happy, great.
It was all that you guys were talking about for a little while.
Still is.
Well, yes.
Still there. The hype's still strong for it right now. But I, having played it a lot of times, I'll still play it another 8-10 times. It's got a lot of variety in it, variability, different houses, different factions, different technologies. It's always going to be a different kind of scale game, and it won't be for everyone, but it's for me, I think it's probably the top Mindclash game. Ooh. Taking Anachrony off the crown, off the slot. That's because I'm better at it than Anachrony.
That does help, doesn't it?
It does help.
Is something worth the hype? Can I win at it?
Can I win at it, or at least get a good, solid performance? Yeah. Then I'm happy. But anyway, that's me. T?
Well, this is the worst question for me to answer because I don't follow hype at all. Yeah, I'm probably even worse than Adrian. I don't follow any hype. I just either play a game with the group, and if I like it, I'll get it.
Yeah.
If I think I'll get table time with it, or I like look at it. Yeah, I just don't follow the hype at all. So, I could say Nemesis, and was that a good hype at the time? Because I wouldn't have known.
Yeah,
it was definitely. Yeah.
So there we go. See, that was
lucky.
That was lucky. Yeah. I also got Marvel Champions as well because I thought that got good hype. But again, I only know that from when you played it, when you first got it.
Yeah.
And you were hyping it up.
Well, I was following it for a long time before it got released. And actually, they were playing it at what was it? Tabletop Gaming Live in Ali Pali before COVID, and that was like a preview of the game. And I was like, I really want to go and play it, and I couldn't get on the table. I was like, but managed to just buy a copy and loved it. There we go. We have finished the niche number ones for our 5th round. Woo-hoo. Now we've talked about niche number ones, I wanted to pick one of them to kind of fuel our would you rather. So our would you rather would be, would you rather play a hype game only during its hype, or to never play a game that was hyped at all? Thinky.
Well, my FOMO gets so bad, I think I'm going to just have to play the game in its hype and just absolutely cram it. Play it constantly. So I'll play maybe 5 or 6 games of it and then not play it anymore.
And then it can sit on your shelf because you can't play it ever again.
Well, I mean, that's just like the rest of my games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that because otherwise I'm going to feel like I'm missing out. And from now, I think most of the really big games get hype, don't they? So if you can't play anything big from now, that's just too sad. That's sad times.
But this is also considering that a lot of the hype games aren't great as well. So to you, not to everyone, but it just depends, doesn't it? So you're kind of saying I will play the game during its hype period,
and then
hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, then you've gone, but then you can't play it anyway. Who cares?
Well, I guess you almost hope it's bad then, don't you?
I suppose you do, yeah.
Because then you'd be sad that you can never play it.
Yeah, because if it is good, then you're going to have to get your plays in before you can never play it again. Nice.
No, I've got the FOMO. If I see it and then I like it, I'll be sad. I'll go for that.
Okay. Adrian?
I'm going to go the opposite way, aren't I? Because I've just said that I don't follow a lot of hype. There are some great games out there that have been hyped, but I tend to wait to see how they mature as a game, if you like, if they survive the hype. And so I won't get to play those ones. And there are quite a few out there. A lot of my gaming collection is top couple of hundred. And if they're in the top couple of hundred, it's normally because they've had the original boost of hype. And all games get a little bit of hype.
Yeah. We're talking about the mass big hype,
ones,
the big ones.
The big ones that sit at the top of the hot list for 6 months at a time, those kind of ones. Yeah, no, I'd probably go the other way. Because there are so many fantastic games that slip through the net.
Yep. Go under the radar, don't they?
Yeah, they just kind of, and there are some. While I do tend to play a lot of the ones that end up in the top sort of 200 to 500 BGG, a lot of those didn't get a lot of hype originally. They kind of came around with an expansion or a second Kickstarter release, and then they got a bit of hype. And well, by that point, they've already been out a lot and didn't have the first hype the first time round. So yeah, that's probably the way I'll go, and I'll get to play a lot of these sort of smaller games.
I'm with you, Adrian. I don't follow the hype, so
yeah. I think it's.
I'd be gutted though if I didn't get to play it at the hype.
Yes, you can't play.
You're
Nemesis.
missing out, aren't you?
You can't play Nemesis anymore, too. It's gone. It was a hyped game, massive.
I can't play it ever.
No, because it was hyped, mass hyped.
Maybe we need to have a caveat,
God.
otherwise, because every game that comes out from now on that's made by a big publisher, you're not going to get to play. So maybe we should say you
not
can't
necessarily
play it
true.
for 18 months or something.
No,
like
I'm
you're
not carrying
banned.
on. No.
Oh, maybe I will go with hype then.
So, like,
Oh, you turned me already.
Don't ask me to measure hype and give you a distinction of what is
Yeah.
mass hype and not, because I can't be bothered.
There are games that are produced by mass publishers. So, like, Red Cathedral's probably one that
Yeah.
got a bit of hype, but it didn't get a ton of hype. And it was from someone like Lacrimosa was another one that didn't get hype when it first came out, and then sort of people started playing it, and it built up and built up. So it still got recognition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's different.
That's a
Isn't it?
great
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
but it didn't have that initial hype. Whereas you look at White Castle, also from De Vere, that a lot of people are comparing to Red Cathedral. That got loads of hype. That you couldn't get to that
No.
place in
Stand,
Essen
yeah.
because of how much hype it had, and yet they're all from the same publisher, but they've been treated quite differently as games. And yet, I think from what I've seen, at least, or what I've played, they're all good games. And yeah, so if I didn't ever get to play White Castle again, but I got to play Red Cathedral,
Maybe you're okay
I'd
with
be
it.
alright with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great game.
No, I'm fickle. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'll just
me
play
too,
the
Bex.
hypes.
Me too.
I'm with you on hype now.
Oh, you changed
I
your
can never
mind.
imagine a world not trying to play Nemesis ever again if I can do it. Or
I knew I'd get
Marvel
him.
Champions is like,
I
no,
knew I'd
no,
get
if
him.
I ever missed out on that, no, I could do it, yeah.
That's the thing, is the gamble of you don't know, do you?
You don't
if
know.
it's going to have the longevity or whether it's going to be good. Yeah. But hey, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's where we are. Okay, we're about to wind things up, but before we do, it's the penultimate turn. What's everyone excited for? What's coming up? Well, there's one thing that's coming up for everybody.
We're
isn't
all
it?
excited about this, aren't we?
Let's cover this one first. As a shared penultimate turn, of course, it's GRIDCON.
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 Yay.
GRIDCON is great. Probably my favourite gaming, kind of open gaming convention. I love it.
Because it's 5 minutes down the road.
It's literally down the road. So when you compare it to Essen, which is a bit of a trek in
Which
the
is
car,
about 10 hours down the road.
10 hours away, maybe 11, maybe 12 with stops. Yeah, to 10 minutes in the car, boom.
Different conventions, though.
It is, yeah. It's a different purpose. It's literally just open gaming. And for those that don't know what GRIDCON is, it's gaming rules. Paul Grogan's and ran by him and his wife Becky.
Mm-hmm.
And it's their convention that they put on as a kind of, it's been converted from their Paul's post Essen Games parties that he used to do at his house, and realised that having 50 people around your house is quite a lot of people.
That's, yeah.
So
That'd be difficult.
decided to create a convention, and it works really well. I've been to 2 of them, and this will be my 3rd, even though it's GRIDCON 4. I missed the first one. And yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah,
I love it.
Looking forward to it.
3 days, games. And yeah, me and you, Adrian, we've got some official duties this year.
We do. I was sort of half nervous, half excited about this, I'll be honest.
Likewise.
So we're both showing off one of the sponsored games. So we're doing the teach and being on hand to support. And yeah, thank you very much to Paul for putting our name forward and saying, would you be interested in doing this? It sort of says he's got a bit of faith in us to do it on us, make him proud sort of thing on that kind of stuff.
What game is it, or are you not allowed to say?
Oh, I've got Perseverance Episode 3.
Of course.
It's a light game that I need to figure out with the rule book that is the PDF and hasn't been printed. So that's my challenge. I have played a demo of it at Essen, so I have a little understanding. But yeah, I've got to absorb that, and there'll be some games in the group to help with that. So I've literally got the prototype in my gaming room. So, yeah.
How many times have you just set it up on the table?
I haven't yet.
Have you not?
No, I'm scared.
Do you want to teach it to a really thick person?
Why, do you know one?
Oh, that's nice. No, I was volunteering myself as a thick person, so if you can teach it and I can understand, that's not me saying I want to play Perseverance, but that might be quite a good way of seeing if your teachers is
Up to scratch.
Up to scratch for really thick people.
Yeah, no, I like teaching games anyway, so I'm not that worried about it. But it's like Adrian says, there's probably no better board game teacher than Mr. Grogan. Like he has a way of doing it that just is logical and makes sense. So then to be handed the keys to the car,
big shoes to fill.
Yeah,
mate.
like
big shoes to fill.
Like, don't crash it, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, so but that's my game. What have you got, Adrian?
I've got Barcelona. So it's I'm going to say board and dice. Yes,
it is.
It's a board and dice game by Danny Garcia. Played it at the 24-hour event. Paul was showing it off there. Interesting little Euro, quite a nice package of sort of different Euro pieces together. And so yeah, I'm going to be teaching that. I had a dry run of teaching it to people a couple of weeks back to make sure I kind of had it and learnt some lessons from that teach, so hopefully it'll be a bit smoother.
Yeah, as in don't teach it to us because we're silly and
yeah, it
pay
helps
attention.
when people don't sort of, but you're gonna get that. It was useful to have three idiots around the table trying to put you off your teach all the
We
time.
were purposely playing the role of dicks, so yeah.
So I've got that coming up. But beyond that, it's a great chance to. I know sort of a few of us are on the Gaming Rules Slack channel, and you sort of you meet people through that you build up a bit of a relationship, but you don't get to see them very often. UK Games Expo is kind of one of those, but GRIDCON's another opportunity to meet a lot of people that you kind of get to see. You might not interact with them individually, but you get to see them and say hello to them and play some games with them, and I just love that part of it as well.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. Looking forward to that. It's literally as this episode comes out, it's this weekend, I think.
I've got the day off on the Friday, but I really should work the afternoon, but I think I might just go, no, I'm sorry, I've got the day off, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, so I think we could all safely say GRIDCON is going to
be
the thing. But very quickly, selfishly, what have you got coming up that's good for you? Adrian.
I've got a couple of things coming up. So I've got a few friends coming round. We try and get together just before Christmas to sort of play some board games. So I've kind of pre-planned roughly what we do, a bit of sort of hobby, sort of like Warhammer and stuff as well. So going to do a bit of that, and then probably going to do a few games. So I'm thinking Smartphone Inc. and Earth is probably the right level for them and a good sort of teach. And so I'm hoping to bust those out with them. And then at GRIDCON, I've got a slot in, which I think we've got Mark and Sally. I'm going to ruin their surname, Gilbertson.
Yeah.
Along with someone else who I don't think I've met before, playing Satori on the Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Which is my SM pickup that I've wanted to get to the table. So looking forward to those games in particular.
Yeah, brilliant. T?
On Thursday, I've got my sister and family coming over. I'm going to play Betrayal, 3rd edition. I read the rule books. It looks really good fun. There's like a mini Mansions of Madness.
Cool.
Yeah,
with the traitor.
With the traitor, and there is player elimination in it, which doesn't go on too well, but it's going to be fun. Try that, and then obviously we've got Beast on Sunday.
We do.
You've been hyping this up, haven't you? This is your hype, isn't it?
Yeah, I've played it. You
didn't get the hype from somewhere else. You just picked it.
I just picked it because I like looking at it. Yeah, it's good.
I want a hidden movement game.
Hidden movement.
Yeah, so it's good.
It's good. It's very good. I played it when I learned how to play it when I was in Devon, so yeah, really good.
That's good. It's one that's been on my list to try.
Yeah, it's good fun. It's quick. I mean, if we do it quickly, we'd probably get a couple of games in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
I thought it would kind of be a 3-hour.
No.
I was assuming it'd be Fury of
there's a big board on one side and there's a smaller one on the other side. So we probably will do the big side, but it's only over 3 nights, so it's actually quite quick.
Yeah, okay.
Quick go.
We'll find out on Sunday, won't we?
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Cool, Bex.
I've got some Acorn tokens turning up.
You got them then?
Yeah.
You literally ordered them?
So we were playing Septima yesterday, and the tokens are beautiful because it's the deluxe edition. I mean, all the stuff is beautiful, but these are like wooden, screen printed. Only the tokens that are the good luck tokens, which are like a little acorn with a little dice in the middle, meaning you get to roll the dice again. They're cardboard, and everything else.
Is it the only one that is?
Yeah. Oh. Well, you've got your potions, but they're different. They're not like a resource. So I feel like I didn't like the fact that they weren't wooden. So I've sourced some wooden ones. They might not look any good. They were worth like £3.50 from eBay. So
we have a theory on this, don't we?
We do. Well, you have a good theory.
My theory is I played Septima in prototype form, and those never existed. That wasn't even a thing that you could do.
Oh, really?
And I reckon it was introduced after or during the production manufacturing process. They said, actually, it would be good if we had this in, and then whacked it on a punch board.
Cardboard is much easier than printing 1,000 wooden.
Because I think they would have done it.
I think that's it. It felt wrong that they weren't similar to the others. They're not, the ones I've bought are not as deep, as thick as the other tokens.
Or chonky.
Or they're not as chonky as the other tokens.
It's a good word.
A chonky token. Yeah.
But they do look quite nice. So hopefully that'll be good. And this is going to be quite sad, but I'm actually really looking forward to sitting down and reading the Septima rulebook.
Ooh.
I know. I've changed.
Are you me?
I've changed, yeah. What's happened to me? I can't even recognise myself from a few years ago because I want to know that game inside and out. I'm really everything about it's intrigued me. In the back of the rule book, they've got like cultural advisors, and I think the person that was really lovely that I emailed about my broken token is that person, and I've just made that connection. Maybe it was the person that showed you guys how to play Perseverance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think she was the person that was the customer liaison or however you say it.
Yeah.
Everything about that game just really intrigues me, and yeah, I just want to know more about it, which is who am I? What's happened to me? This is a Mindclash game, and I'm excited by it and really want to know more.
Well, they did say, didn't they? We spoke to the Mindclash team.
Yeah, we spoke to Dorka, yeah.
Spoke to Dorka, and then she was saying like the whole theming, everything around Septima has been encouraged to try and, appeal to the female market as well. Like to bring that kind of dynamic in.
Yeah.
Not like any other themes don't, but
it was
they purposely
their whole sort of kind of creation team, all the girls that work in Mindclash have had like an input in it.
Yes,
which I think has been really
it's great.
Yeah, and I think it just seems very considered. I'm not saying that guys' games aren't considered, so don't take that the wrong way.
Some games aren't considered.
Maybe
you can definitely say that.
This just feels really considered, and I absolutely bet that some of the names of the witches and stuff, if you did some research, you would find that their special abilities are linked towards a famous witch or something of that name. I just bet there is like layers on layers of this. I don't know, I just get that feeling.
Who knows?
I haven't researched that, but I just get the feeling
Fact check it, people.
I just get the feeling that the more I delve into it, the more it's gonna be revealed to me, and I'm really interested in that.
Mine was very quick. T mentioned it earlier in the episode. Skymines. I'm actually really looking forward to getting a game of that this week.
Oh, wow.
I'm playing it on Thursday. So another Alexander Pfister design based on an old game of Mombasa, but reskinned, rethemed, probably for good reason.
Has now been considered.
Yeah, and now is called Moonbasa, but it's not really called Moonbasa, but it is because it's literally the same game. But I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoy it. It's a good puzzle. There's a good kind of tug of war element to it, and jumping on kind of company tracks and getting shares. And
I'm intrigued.
I really like it. I should play it more. That's why I put it in. So that's me. And there we go. That wraps up another episode of us all sitting around the table. So I just want to say a big thank you, as this is my last episode as the first player in this run, and can't believe it's just already over. It feels like you just get going and it ends again. But it's the way it is. It's all good. And I'm handing over to our newest player, Dan Apsey.
Well, hey.
So Dan is going to kind of inject his pizzazz, his theatrics, his
special flavour.
What? I don't want Dan inserting his special flavour into anything.
Well, Dan, we look forward to your special flavour, and I'm sure our listeners do too. So if you've enjoyed the show, then please share it with your friends. Share it with your gaming group. We'd love to get the podcast out there. And as we were mentioned last episode, you can support the show using Ko-fi. That's Kofi. And it's a way of helping the show, helping us grow, helping us get better equipment, helping us just generally keep this thing going, which has been a lot of fun and continues to be awesome fun. And if you want to get in contact with us, you can find all the information in our show notes, of which there are many, many ways of doing so. So yeah, I think that leaves us for another episode. So until next time, whose turn is it?